Greetings and welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to episode 363 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly video game podcast for Words About Games. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander, and I'm joined this week by Mr. Deaf and Moody.
Howdy doodle do, everybody. It's Friday. You know what that means. It's video game day.
I finally have a Friday off. That's what that means. Yeah.
Ah.
I don't have to rush around. Actually, no, that's not true. I do. I don't have to rush around to get this podcast done because, like, I'm out like all day. But I do have to rush around getting this podcast out tomorrow because I'm replacing my hard drive in my computer tomorrow.
Wasn't it late last week?
It's late. It's been late every week for weeks.
Is it?
Yeah, because I literally have to finish this podcast, and I either have to leave the edit, like the editing of the podcast, running overnight, and then hit the upload button as I leave the house, or edit it afterwards, and then I've got to stream, so I can't upload it while I'm streaming. So yeah, it's been late for a while. But last week, I set the edit to roll while I was asleep, and I woke up and it had failed. So I was like, well, I can't set it away like now because I don't have time. So I set it away like later on the afternoon.
So deep down, I should change my answer. So it's Friday or maybe Saturday, but either way, you know what that means.
It's just forced me to finally start replacing the pieces of my computer that are dying slowly.
That's fair. That's fair.
Luckily, hard drives aren't very expensive.
That is good, I guess.
The graphics card that started making sounds like a PlayStation 4 trying to play The Last of Us Part 2. It's a little bit more expensive. I'm still working on how I'm going to figure that one out.
Or heck, Horizon Forbidden West.
And
God of War 2.
Any cross-platform PS4, PS5 game.
Yeah. You're just like, what are you doing to me?
So I was playing the demo for the game, for the indie game of the week this week, and I don't know if you've already clicked on it. Not a particularly intensive game, really, when you see the screenshots, but I took my headphones off after I was finished it, and I could hear all three fans on my graphics card at maximum speed, and I was like,
Nice.
This isn't, I don't know if this, like, my plan was to buy one in the new year. Now I'm like, it just needs to hold together for a month.
Will it make it to the new year?
If this thing can make it to the end of the month, I think I can replace it, but I don't even know if it's going to do that.
Nice.
I was talking to Ryan the other day, and it was like, "Oh, should we play Faz sometime?" And I was like, "Ryan, if I try to play Faz on my computer at the moment, I think it's going to achieve a stable orbit."
With me attached to it.
With like, oh, I'm still holding onto the mouse and keyboard.
Admit it. You'd be like, well, the F's fucked, so why not just go? Let's just sleep. Let's go. Take me away, keyboard.
Just midstream. I have to go. My home planet needs me.
Yeah, why not? I would. I would indeed.
So yeah. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm pretty chill. A little tired.
That's good.
But I'm pretty chill.
That's good. One of us should be chill.
I'm so chill at my fault, so I won't lie.
I mean, that's a danger every week.
True. But yeah, shit happens.
I mean,
it is what it is.
If you fall asleep, it's fine, because I have the opportunity for shenanigans if you fall asleep. Cool. I don't see a problem here. Either I get a podcast out of you, or I do some stuff and then publish the resulting podcast, and then go, Moody, you should watch the podcast. You'd be like, did we finish the podcast on Thursday night, Amy? I don't remember how it ended. And I went, oh, I know how it ended. Sophia, can you go into Moody's room and draw a penis on his forehead with a permanent marker?
And say Amy was here.
Yeah. Perfect. We've already workshopped it. It's perfect. How's the week? Has it been a long week this week?
No, I've been off, so it's been all right.
Nice. So it's been a short week this week.
Yeah, kind of. Week's going fast. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
It's already Thursday.
You know what that means?
Yeah, we know what that means. It's almost Friday.
I think I said this to you on Blue Sky, where it's like if someone says a day, no matter what day it is, it's like, you know, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., when the agent guy who got brought back to life, and every time he was like, Tahiti, it's a magical place. Like, I feel like that, where someone will be like, oh yeah, it's happening on a Wednesday, and I just go, you know what that means? You know what that means? You know what that means?
No, true.
But I don't. I never know what that means.
You never do. You
I
never do.
know what
That's
it
true.
means.
You never do. But either way.
Happy
How's
birthday.
your week been? Thank you. You weren't late at all.
I told you I was going to be a day late.
It's true. You did. I thought you were joking.
I wasn't. No, because you told me 6 times in one day. whenever we saw Stray Gods, and you were like, that's the day after my birthday, and I was like, Moody's birthday, Stray Gods. Those 2 things are now linked in my head, and like people are always like, how come you never remember people's birthdays? And I'm like, since birth I've never remembered people's birthdays, and I used to use Facebook to keep up with people's birthdays, but I don't use Facebook anymore.
Yeah, I don't remember people's names very. Like, it's like I'm really bad at remembering names.
Like, I can't remember. I remember my birthday, and I remember Russ's birthday because it's right after mine. I remember your birthday this year. Stray Gods isn't coming out again next year, so I don't know how that's gonna happen. But I can remember all of the words to "Bat Out of Hell," a 9.5-minute song. So maybe if someone writes a song with all of the birthdays that I need to remember,
yeah,
and I can just listen to that over and over again, and then I might remember them. The human mind is an enigma. Really, isn't it? Like,
that is true. That is true.
yeah.
With you. I saw Oppenheimer this week.
Oh, okay. Did it end the way you thought it would?
A bomb went off, if that helps. No, honestly, like, I won't lie. I thought it would have ended. But I'm not spoiling it, so I thought it would have ended with the bombing of Hiroshima. It doesn't, so
That's probably.
I thought that was yeah. But it's a film I need to see again. But it's like, it's kind of like right now in the range of like, it is technically one of the best made films probably this year, easily. It's probably the best made film this year, easily by a country mile. And you literally just see it's like a master director with his at the height of his craft, like how well this is really done, made, and everything. It's a long film. It is a long film, but I was engaged throughout, so it kept my attention.
I mean,
which was really good.
That's what you want. Sat in a dark
Mrs.
room.
loved it. Mrs. loved it. She was just like that all the time.
Wow.
I was just like, interesting.
She wasn't just yawning.
Probably. She said she wasn't.
She just didn't want to hurt your feelings.
No, I was just her eating her popcorn. That she doesn't share.
I mean, I know that. I don't share my popcorn. I'm the same. Like, you want some popcorn? You want some popcorn? Buy your fucking popcorn.
You like it? No, I've already had it. Thanks, bye. I don't eat popcorn anyway. So that's all right.
Just with my head in the box. Like, what?
No, it was a great film.
I saw a post where someone had posted the screenshot of, is there a post-credit scene in Oppenheimer? And the comment was, we're living it, baby.
Post-credit scene's been 60-odd years now.
Yeah, the post-credit scene, yeah, everything that followed. The Oppenheimer, this isn't the start of the Oppenheimer cinematic universe.
Mr. saw Barbie on Tuesday.
I really want to see Barbie.
She had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. I really want to see it, but I'll probably just wait till it comes to streaming services.
Yeah, I'm probably going to just. I just have no interest in it. I was just like, I'm very, very selective when it comes to the movies I go and see these days. Anyway, in the cinema, I don't have the passion that I used to have years ago.
Sure.
And everything.
That makes sense.
Like I don't know when we're going to be there next. Like, I don't think it's really anything that's making me go, we must go and see the cinema. We must go to the cinema and see this type of thing.
Yeah, like even the Spider-Man film, like if I wasn't going with you, I probably would have been fine just being like, yeah, I'll just wait. It's like out this week, right? So what would that have been like? 2 weeks, 2 months.
Yeah.
You're like, I can wait 2 months. It's fine.
Yeah. I'll be buying that.
Like
rewatching it in 4K.
my thing is like I do want to. There are films that I do want to see, like where I'm like, I want to see this as soon as it comes out. But also like, I despise the cinema experience.
That's the thing about it. Like, so like I told you, me and the missus, we saw Mission Impossible. The latest one.
Yes. I think I made a joke about Reloaded Arms.
Maybe. Yes, you did. Henry Cavill sadly not in the movie. Disappointing. It's very disappointing. Yeah, there's no doubt. Yeah, film brilliant. Loved it. Can't fault it. Well, can, but it's a great film. Go and see it. The seats we had were diabolical.
Yeah.
Shit. And I know we get, you pick your seats, this, all right, blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah. But we went to the cinema that where you and me went to see Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, well, okay, I can appreciate not all the cinemas are going to have the recliner seats, but you're at least going to have decent seats still. Nah.
You went from the experience we had together, which was like reclining seats, air conditioning, to the experience I have every time I go to the cinema, because I ain't paying more than $5 for a cinema ticket.
The thing is that this is how peak the experience with Spider-Man was, that I didn't even realize that until you two told me that I dozed off before the film.
You did, yeah. You fell asleep before the film. Which, to be fair,
I was
big
so
mood.
tired. I was so tired that I dozed off before the film, which is kind of like I had a power nap without realizing that I had a nap.
Power naps, restorative, man.
Yeah, which was really good. But no, then we just went to shit in the Mission Impossible, which I think disrupted my experience of enjoying the movie as much as
that's what I find. Like,
yeah,
when I went to see Little Women, which was a film I really fucking loved Little Women, but like it was literally I bought the last ticket. So like the entire cinema, no, it was to the side, and then on the aisle. Weirdly enough, I always thought people bought the aisle seats first, but they didn't. But it was like the entire cinema was packed, and it's like people crunching popcorn, people whispering to each other. Oh, look at that! I remember this from one of the 17 other adaptations of Little Women that there was. And I'm like, I haven't seen any of those. Shut up. Stop ruining the film for me. But
do you wish to die?
But yeah, no, it's just like, you got the people talking. There's always somebody who won't shut the fuck up for the entire film. Like, I had to stop going to see films that were rated like 15 or below because there was always a fucking kid. There was always a fucking kid in the cinema. Like, if I'd have gone to see Super Mario Brothers at the cinema, I would have fucking killed someone. But
oh god, yeah, I can. Yeah, like we saw Sonic at the cinema, the first one.
Yeah,
and it was full of kids. But I won't lie, their enjoyment probably elevated my enjoyment of that movie. And everything.
Yeah,
so,
I suppose
really
does make sense. I suppose it's more when kids get bored and they're in the cinema. Yeah. Like
that's they're just screaming.
Yeah,
or they're crying and screaming. You just like get the fuck out of me. Like I saw the live action, quote unquote, live action Lion King in the cinema. And obviously we all know how much I love the Lion King. It's like my favorite animated feature of all time. And I went to go and see it with my partner and everything. And we had behind us some other with their child. And this is not a child. This is a baby. I was thinking, why the fuck have you brought a baby? Why have you brought a baby?
No,
these one, the animals look real. Two, the lion will eat them.
Three,
trust me,
there's like 600 speakers.
Yeah, and if you're trying to think he's gonna fall asleep, he ain't gonna fucking fall asleep. Like at the beginning, it's like, it's like, and this baby starts screaming. I'm just like,
and like the chairs are like, oh. Like, yeah, my best cinema experiences have been when I've been alone.
Yeah.
Or so close to alone that it's just me and the 4 other weirdos who like to watch cinemas, who go to the cinema and be by themselves. So we're all just sitting there in our own corners.
Yeah.
Like
that's how I used to be years ago. It was really like, because sometimes my partner just didn't want to go and see the film, or was just like was busy.
Yeah,
it was out at work and everything. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna go and see the film and everything like that. And that's how it was for me. And now I'm just like, oh, no, I can't be bothered.
Yeah, that's fair. Because like
it's
again,
like,
it's like
a trek and a half.
Since the pandemic started and we had the lockdowns and stuff, it's transformed the way we can watch films. Where it would be like, if you don't even see that film at the cinema, you're not going to be able to see it for like 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, I have to make a choice now. Do I go and see this now, or do I go and see it next year? And then I have to get a DVD of it, you know, or go to Blockbuster. That was a really long time ago. Or do I have to buy it on Amazon? And it's just like, now it's just like, I can wait a couple of months. It'll be on one of the streaming platforms soon enough. But yeah, no, like I tell people this normally, where I'm just like, everything about the cinema experience is designed to like just annoy the shit out of me. And like, I get that's a me problem. Like, I get that's a me problem. Like, a lot of people love the cinema experience, and that's why I'm like, yeah, but I'll just wait. That's why I'm fine waiting.
Like, when I see films that I'm really excited to go and see, then I feel like this you have to see at the cinema. Like I mean, my boss will discuss this thing. This is a film that I feel like you have to see at the cinema. And he argues against it, saying, no, every film should be designed to be able to be watchable on the TV and everything like that. And I'm just like, you don't get it. And he says, you're right, I don't get it. And I think that's fair.
Yeah, he doesn't get it. No, because
he doesn't get it.
So like, there are definitely films where it's like, damn, I'm glad I saw this in the cinema, or I wish I'd seen this in the cinema. Like when I went to see Gravity at the cinema, I was like, if I had seen this anywhere else first, like I would not love this movie as much as I do.
Yeah, and even like it's like you can go to see cinema, like you can go to see a film there's a film that is designed for you to be in the cinema, and you can come out saying not like it. Like Joe Medforce, completely wrong. Avatar 2, one of the greatest films of all time, but this
is why I'm never going to watch it.
You have seen it.
Avatar 2? No.
Haven't you? Oh no, that's my mother. My mother said she just...
No, I've seen the first one, my opinions of which I'm going to keep to myself. And that's why
tell me what you think of it. I will never be offended.
And that's why I'm never going to see the second one. I saw what happened between you and Joe, and I'm just and that's it. That's it.
We were joking with each other.
Take those thoughts and opinions and push them right down next to where I keep my opinions about Skyrim.
I mean, me and Joe were joking with each other. It was fun banter. It was really fun banter that night.
It was fun. It was.
It really was fun. But I would love to. I've told you, I would love you to see it, and I don't care if you don't like it. It doesn't bother me one bit.
It's just so long. Like in the old days, when I watched a film I didn't like, it was 90 minutes of my life. It's like whatever, you know what I mean? Like that's a nap. Like
yeah, James Cameron's movies, they're an experience.
Now it's like, oh, it's a film I might not like. It's like 3.5 hours of my life that I could do a lot in 3.5 hours.
Yeah, could watch James Cameron's movie. But no,
put it on in the background.
Back to what I was saying, like ages ago, like there was a lot of fun experiences, but now just the cinema experience is kind of sucked out of it. Like last year, before we moved down here, the only film we saw in the cinema was Top Gun 2. It's insane to us to think of that for ourselves and everything like that. Like we never saw the third Spider-Man, everyone loved and everything in the cinema. We saw that when it came out.
That was the one time I did go to the cinema.
Yeah,
like the only day I went to the cinema, I went to see 3 films back to back to back.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
I love doing that. I love doing that. Like, because I'll just get it into my head where it's like, if there's like a few films all at once, I'll just be like, fuck it, knock it out in a day.
Our original plan was to do Mission Impossible and Oppenheimer on the same day, but then we like came to a part where it's like, yeah, we're both off. Let's just go and see Mission Impossible. Let's go. So we both went to see it, and I was thinking, and I came out thinking, oh, I'm so glad I saw this. I'm so glad I haven't done a back-to-back feature, because both these are 3 hours films, so I'm just like...
Yeah, none of the films I went to go and see were 3 hours long.
Yeah. Like I don't mind like the length of a film, but I think... But it has to be one at a time. Like, I have to go home now. Like, I'm done. My day's done. I'm going home now.
Yeah, sure.
Type of thing.
Like, and if I was going to go and see Oppenheimer, like I've seen loads of people have gone to see Oppenheimer and Barbie at the same time because there's been that Animal Crossing Doom style
how weird
thing.
of the combination is that? I'm going to see the invention of the atomic bomb. Now I'm going to see a film about one of the most popular dolls in the world.
But like I couldn't see. I don't know what Barbie's about. And I don't want to know. No one spoil it for me.
Look at that. I don't think Barbie knows what it's about.
Good. I've been watching that film ever since I saw the first trailer, and it was a shot-for-shot.
Trailer was incredible.
It was a shot-for-shot recreation of a 2001: A Space Odyssey trailer, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, the trailer was bonkers. I shouted at that trailer, like, that could be the greatest marketing they've done in a while.
Yeah, this is some of the greatest marketing I've ever seen.
And you've got like one of the biggest sex symbols out there right now in Margot Robbie. She is a beautiful woman, and you just see her in that and just go,
I love Margot Robbie.
Damn.
I love Margot Robbie a lot. But yeah, no, like I don't think I could watch Oppenheimer and then have the right headspace to watch anything else.
Yeah.
Because it's a heavy, I'm assuming a heavy film based on what it's about.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. No,
it's fine.
Not heavy
nice
at all.
and cheerful.
It's cheerful and everything. Like there's some funny scenes in Oppenheimer though. Like I was watching it, I was just like, so imagine being Christopher Nolan and then talking to the actors and saying, so this is what this scene's going to be, and this is how I'm going to film it, and this is what's going to happen. And while this is happening in front of all of you, you're still going to be like doing your normal acting and pretending you're not seeing what's happening in front of you right now. And I'm like, but you in the corner, you just going to look directly at it. And you're going to be like focused at it, but you're going to be getting angry at it. And I'm just like, but you're just going to sit there. It's like, what the fuck? How do you describe this scene? Yeah. How do you describe this scene to them all? Like, it was the most bonkers thing. It made me laugh. I was giggling as again. This is a serious moment, but I'm laughing right now.
That happened to me when I was watching Justice League, the original cut in the cinema, and there was a good like 30 or 40 people in the cinema when I was watching it, and it's the moment where they're all fighting Superman. He's just come back and he's not right, and they're all wrestling him, and then the Flash is like starts running, and then he's looking, and then Superman does the thing where he goes like.
Starts looking at
and then Barry Allen's just like, and like,
oh, shit.
I was the only person in the cinema that found that hilarious.
You were.
Yeah,
it is.
So
hilarious.
I just started.
It's meant to be hilarious.
I just started barely laughing.
Yeah,
and nobody joined in.
Yeah, that scene is intentionally to be hilarious.
Yeah,
because it's literally just. That one scene does so much for Superman in one scene that any of the other two movies ever did. And I love Man of Steel. Like, I defend Man of Steel. Like, I love that movie. But it's like, that one scene did everything that everyone's been screaming out for Superman compared to the other two movies in one scene where he just beats up the other heroes. It's really funny. Like it's really it was
just
a
that
lot.
dopey look on the Flash's face,
films,
and I just fucking lost it. Like, oh no!
With his silly ass run, his run was weird. It made no sense.
I know where he did the thing and touched the ground. But yeah, no,
it's just this. It's like this. He's doing this all the time. It's like, what's that? That's not running. But you could run like Tom Cruise.
You could run like Boimler. You could do the Boimler run, which is possible in real life. We found out.
It's been proved. It's been proven. Yeah, it's been proven. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Good God. Yeah, go check out Oppenheimer, people. It's a great film. Deserves your attention.
Video games, right? That's what we're here. Yeah. Yeah, it says so. Right there. Words about games. Shit, I always forget about that.
It's not the glorious movie show, or groovy podcast, or whatever.
The groovy, glorious movie show.
The groovy, glorious something.
The groovy.
The something glorious. I win.
Groovy.
The something glorious.
It's a shame this isn't the glorious movie podcast because I've been doing some stuff I'll tell you about after.
Interesting.
But let's do video games. This is video games.
Why not?
We haven't done that for like 50 episodes, but for some reason I was literally about to jump into the whole, we can get this podcast and then do it the air. It still says every Monday. That's how long it's been since you've even read that.
I never even realized that. I normally just scroll down to the main topic.
I was literally about to start reading it. I was like, no, we don't do that anymore. You get this podcast every no.
Well, it could be. Who knows? It depends on how fast the PC gets it
Yeah.
It could be Monday.
Let's see what happens. I've already braced everybody. I'm like, I might not stream tomorrow night. We'll see how long this hard drive replacement takes.
Oh, no. What about your Pokemon team?
It's just going to have to wait a week. My PC is dying, Moody.
True. That's true.
It's put up a good fight, but it's losing.
All things come to an end.
Yeah, all good
like this great circle of life.
Like Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
I can't remember the rest of it. I haven't seen The Lion King for a long time.
Circle of life.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, we've got a main topic. We've got a game to review. We've got an indie game of the week. We've got Moody's Time to Shine. We've got some stuff happening next week, and then we've got an OpenCritic Head-To-Head to round the podcast off. But first, the main topic. I've pulled a news story. I couldn't be bothered rewriting this into my own words. I don't think I needed to. So I just borrowed Stephen Totillo's words from Axios.
So you nicking Stephen Tilliott's words?
No, it would be stealing if I didn't credit him.
Who's this Stephen Tolliot? We don't know these people.
Like, if I didn't credit him and I was like, I wrote this thing, this is mine.
Fuck you, Stephen Tolliot. It's our words now.
There are words about games now. But yeah, no, so this is the main topic. Body of Mine puts users in a virtual body of a different gender. So this is from Stephen Totillo over at Axios Gaming, who writes, in Body of Mine, a new virtual reality experience, users can put on a headset and body tracking sensors, then look down and see a body. Their arms, their chest, down to their feet. That does not match the gender they were assigned at birth. Excuse me. The project, which was demoed for Axios last week in New York City, is an ambitious and already award-winning experience. It is designed to provoke introspection about gender and a transgender person's experiences and allow people to explore what it might be like to be in a different body. Body of Mine lead designer Cameron Kostopoulos told Axios, quote, we really want this to be a way for people to get a headset and explore their own gender and think more critically and deeply about what gender is, end quote. The interactive demo lets the user touch their virtual body as if it is their real one and hear audio clips from trans people about those parts of their bodies. Someone assigned male at birth who uses Body of Mine, for example, will seem to inhabit a virtual body that has breasts. When touching their chest, they'll hear a trans woman talk about what it feels like to have them. Fucking sick. That would be my audio clip. Some of the stories from trans people that play inside Body of Mine VR describe anxieties regarding onlookers' comments about their bodies or elation about having a body that feels like their own. A major goal, Kostopoulos says, is to give cis users the feeling of being in a body that they do not feel comfortable with and help them try to understand what gender dysphoria might feel like. He says, quote, we want to take it to the areas around the world that could have a lot of transphobia and have people who could empathize more and don't have the opportunity to understand trans issues. But also, what you see in those same places are a lot of people who are in the closet and a lot of trans youth who are really struggling with their identity, end quote. He recalled taking a prototype of Body of Mine to a film festival in Oklahoma and letting a trans girl try it and then letting her mother, who kept calling the girl her son, to try it as well. The mum was quiet afterward, he said. Kostopoulos, who is gay, says he conceived Body of Mine after being outed. Quote, I was thinking about how we can use VR to build safe spaces, end quote. He wanted to create something that would tell the stories of his trans friends and potentially help trans people. The project is self-funded on an extremely low budget, Kostopoulos says. The demo used in festivals is shown in private screening rooms, quote, and anonymity is a key part of the experience, end quote. Kostopoulos is still refining the experience, which he hopes to eventually release for free on VR platforms that support body tracking. Kostopoulos hopes Body of Mine will have a positive impact, but is keeping things in perspective. He says, quote, rarely you're going to see someone with a change of heart rate on the spot. but you're relating to stories in a way that you don't normally, and that at least plants a seed, end quote. So, like, we've had a rough couple of goes of it the last couple of weeks with the stories that have floated to the top of the news pile. So when I saw this, I was like, cool, we'll do this one first, because why not?
Cool. So this is the plan, everybody. So listen to me here. We all have to work together on this, okay? So listen to me. You got me? You listening?
Well, I'm listening with my eyes, apparently. I'm listening.
This is what we're going to be doing. Okay, this is what we're all going to do. So we're all going to go out there. We're going to buy
right now
all the VR headsets.
Okay.
We're going to download this game when it fully comes out on all of them.
Okay.
We're going to take one to J.K. Rowling. Just drop it on a front door. Just knock on the door and walk away. Say, here you go, present for you. Give it a go. Go to find everybody who played Hogwarts Legacy, who developed Hogwarts Legacy, Warner Bros. And all like that, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Give him this game, give him this, and say, here, try this out. It might help you. Nothing like that.
Sure.
Go to all the podcasts and game journalists out there who played the game and everything like that and didn't say a single thing about all the terribleness that J.K. Rowling's done. Yeah. And give them all of that. It's a lot of people, yeah, and everything like that. Yeah. So I think we should all start a GoFundMe.
Okay.
So we can crowdfund this, because obviously me and you can't afford.
I mean, I was going to say I can't afford one VR headset,
and all like that. So if we all work together, we can cure transphobia by the end of the decade, I think.
Wow.
And
where do I sign up to vote for you for Prime Minister? This sounds like a Prime Ministerial thing. It's like, and I pledge that we will end transphobia by 2030.
To end bigotry by 2030. But no, yeah, this sounds amazing. This really just sounds amazing. But it goes on to the cost of like why I enjoy video games and why I play different type of video games. Like, we're going to be reviewing a game today, but we're going to be reviewing a game next week, which just a spoiler for me on a little bit is that I adored that game. We're going to talk about next week.
I can't wait to
talk about that game.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that game. It's so good. But I love different experiences all the time. Like, when I play, like, I've spoken on multiple things, like the Mass Effect. I don't just play as male Shep. I play as femme Shep. I'll fucking full on in
I'll
here.
fuck anyone and everybody.
Basically, yeah, I'm going in.
What do you mean I can't fuck a Krogan?
How does he know if he doesn't try it? You know?
4 testicles, you say? Challenge accepted.
For the first 2 games, we don't need to use protection, so it's all good. Whatnot, but it's went weird. But no, I like playing different type of games because I've had, for many years on multiple entertainment products out there, TV, etc., that I've had the white perspective for a ton of white male perspective for decades, and learning new perspectives, creating about it and learning about it is always a fantastic way. So if you're having something like this is really, really cool. Like, to hear what the article says, like, a mother was calling their trans daughter son. Hopefully that has now changed after having that experience, and they've communicated and you know, like that, and they're moving forward in a good way and everything. That's always great. That's fantastic. That's what we want to hear, and hopefully that has happened. But like, I play games, like, I want to know about other cultures. Like, one of my favorite films, and I'll go back in films last year, was RRR. I don't know anything about Indian culture, about that they love curry. But when I watched that movie, I'm joking there. But when I watched that film, just learning even more about it and everything like that was really, really good. One of the best characters in the last Spider-Man, in the animated movie that came out, was the Indian Spider-Man. He was fantastic. He was so great, and very funny. And yeah, and it's just always great to learn about new cultures. Like, I love Asian culture. I love the samurai culture. And I just watched Last Samurai again. It's like just to learn about them. And it's really, really good. Like, I watch a lot of documentaries about games and other cultures and everything. I like to learn. So this is another good experience to hopefully, like, help people learn. Like, people are just screaming in so many different directions, and it's tiresome when it's just, at the end of the day, it's just, these are just people. Trans people are people. They deserve every right that I have, as a pasty white dude has, you know. And so if we can all just come together, it's not Like I said, it's going to take at least 7 years. Okay, at the end of the decade, I said, and we can end it all. We can end it all and whatnot.
We're gonna need to also increase the production of your headsets if you want to pull this one off.
That is true. Yeah, that is true. That is true. But no, yeah, this was great, and a great thing, like what you said, what we've been talking about the last few weeks, which has been an important topic to talk about, but it's also just the thing. It's like in an industry that we both love, but it's at the same time just sort of.
I don't know.
Sakes.
Do I love it? I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like you go up, it's like let's just say it. We're in an abusive relationship in the video game industry, and we just don't know how to get out.
I don't want to get out, but I want to change it. I can fix it.
Yeah, I can fix it. Fix it, Felix.
But yeah,
this is a great article.
Yeah, no, it was like the last one I found as well. I was like, oh no, there's not much to talk about this week, and then I was like, just scrolling through everything, and then I was like, wait, there was an Axios newsletter, like, because I do 2 a week. Like, what was the other one? And then this was in it, and I was like, this is awesome. Let me just take this, because, like, yeah, fuck yeah, it's cool. Like, this would have been helpful to have for me at some point, you know, have access to this. I would have been like, oh, okay. Like, I remember having a weird experience the first time I played Star Trek Bridge Crew in VR for the first time. And like the first time, like I looked down and I was like, oh, hello. And that was a very interesting experience that I didn't really get to unpack because I was with 2 people who were shouting about Klingons. They were off the starboard bow, the port bow. It was a mess. But like in amongst that, I was like, this feels weird. But yeah, no, it was stuff like that. Like little things can help in a big way, and like, you know, it can help a lot of people. Like you pointed out, and Stephen pointed out and the developer pointed out the like putting people in this to give them a better understanding of something they don't have an understanding of. And I think that would be really cool, right? To stick someone, a cis person, in this headset, excuse me, and like give them like just a glimpse of what body dysphoria, of what gender dysphoria feels like, right?
Yeah.
Is cool. And the fact that it like you know, you touch different parts of the body and you hear different experiences of like actual trans people as well. That's really cool because again, that goes back to that whole like learning phase, right? Like I always want to say education because that's the correct word, but people think education and they go school boring, but no, like learning is fun, and it's a fun learning experience. But also like for those questioning people, or the people who haven't got everything figured out, or who just want to try stuff out and see what happens, and like it's really helpful for that as well. Like Star Trek Bridge Crew was probably like a really important thing for me to experience in like my life in the moment that I experienced it for that reason, because I just mindlessly decided to play the female character model when I booted the game up for the first time, and it's little moments like that can be really cool, you know. Representation, it turns out, you know, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool, no doubt about it.
And like
I'm listening to you.
I know. And like you said before as well, like I love the fact, like this is one of the reasons I love video games, because like I could want, like you watch a film, you know, like there's like documentaries and stuff that people have made, right? Like YouTube documentaries and like Netflix documentaries and stuff about the trans experience and stuff, yes, which are all really good. Like, you know, they're really good and they're really informative, but video games have that like way of breaking down the barrier, because whenever I'm watching something, there's a barrier. It's the TV is in my way, right? Like I am watching someone else's vision, and no matter how good that vision is, it's still someone else's vision. Whereas like with the video game, it's still someone else's vision, but it's placing me in the position of protagonist, like whatever that looks like. That's why I think video games can be so powerful, like Body of Mine, which is what we've just been talking about, but also like things like Celeste. Like Celeste would have been a really good indie movie, but I think it just hits that much harder when you experience that game and that challenge, you know what I mean? That difficulty of climbing that mountain, for example.
Yeah, no, I understand that. No doubt about it, and it's very well done. So
Yeah, video games. What a concept.
video games, what a concept indeed. What a concept indeed.
And yeah, like cool. Like roll this out. Let's get it out there. Like I'll get a VR headset. I think it'd be fascinating to try myself.
Let's end transphobia. I mean, we can do this. 2030. You hear to hear it first, people.
2030.
Don't hold it to me.
I was going to say I'm not part of this. Very supportive. I'm very supportive of his goals. I will applaud and support any way I can, but I'm not part of this promise.
I need someone to walk into the belly of the beast when it goes to J.K. Rowling's household.
Oh, I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll do that. What I'll do is I'll get some armor. I'll need some kind of armor. But what I was thinking is, what if instead of armor, it was like an 18th century diving suit? And I've got the stuff, and I'm just like. J.K. Rowling, you have failed this city. I mean, here's a VR headset.
I didn't know what. Just have it anyway. We've already installed the game on there. You might like it.
It can only install one game. I had one of my coder friends make it so you can only play this one game.
Yeah. You might enjoy it. Go for it.
Huh. Yeah. Fun stuff. That's fun. That was nice.
Very good.
That was nice. Let's talk about something else nice.
Let's talk about video games, Amy.
Let's talk about video games. So we both played this game.
Yes.
So
how do you want to do this? So I've written something, and I'm guessing you've written something. You said.
So I was thinking about. I've been thinking about this for the last half a day. And what I was thinking was, rather than us both just like read one, like you read your thing and then I read my thing, I don't like that. That's kind of boring. You read your thing and then we'll just have a chat about the game.
And you just tell me how many times I'm wrong.
Yeah. Every time you say something, I'll just go wrong, and then we'll have the discussion, and then at the end of the discussion, we'll give out, like at the end when we're ready to transition to the next part of the podcast, we'll both give our star rating for the game.
All right. Sorry, Moody. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
And you may or may not be fired by then.
That's fair. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to review Viewfinder. We were aiming last week, but sadly I didn't play it until this week. So Viewfinder is developed by Sad Owl Studios and published by Wonderful Publisher. On OpenCritic right now, it is at a top critic average of 83 and a critic's recommendation of 93%. The highest scores out there are an 8 from IGN, PC World 87, an 8.5 from Easy Allies, a 5 out of 5 from Games Radar Plus, 9 out of 10 by GameSpot, and so on. 7 out of 10 by Metro, and etc. And I think overall the game is getting a well received, strong response from a lot of the critics out there. So here we go. My review of Viewfinder. Viewfinder, an incredible gameplay and level design experience that is held back by its lackluster story. Viewfinder is a visually stunning and an immersive game that successfully captures players with an intriguing level design and clever puzzle mechanics. The voice acting in particular stands out in an extraordinary way, bringing life and emotion to the characters. However, the game falls short in delivering a captivating and coherent story. The game excels, like I said, in creating a captivating visual, appealing environments. Each level is beautifully crafted, immersing players in a diverse range of stunning landscapes that keep you hooked from the start to finish. The attention to detail and level design adds depth to the overall gameplay experience. The puzzles are a true highlight in the game. They are thoughtfully designed, providing just the right balance of challenge and satisfaction. Players will find themselves fully engaged and in decrypting and finding a way past the puzzles, which encourage critical thinking and problem-solving skills. And a very very smart how you use it. The voice acting deserves special mention. The talent for voice actors bring the characters to life with passion and authenticity. The emotional depth that they infuse into the dialogue enhances the overall immersion and connection to the game's narrative. Lastly, the dedication to accessibility in Viewfinder is commendable as well. It adds to the game's overall appeal. It ensures that a broad audience can fully immerse themselves in this mesmerizing world and enjoying a creative puzzle-solving experience without any hindrance. Unfortunately, Viewfinder's story fails to match the brilliance of its gameplay elements. The narrative lacks coherence and struggles to maintain my interest throughout the journey. While the game sets up an intriguing premise, it ultimately falls short in delivering a satisfying story arc. In conclusion, Viewfinder shines through its captivating level design, clever puzzle mechanics, and outstanding voice acting. Its immersion world and challenging puzzles make for a highly enjoyable gameplay experience. However, weak story leaves much to be desired and may disappoint players seeking a more engaging narrative. Despite this setback, however, Viewfinder remains a worthwhile experience for puzzle enthusiasts and for those who appreciate exceptional voice acting and level design. My overall rating is a low 4 out of 5.
So you remember when I said we'll do the ratings at the end?
I forgot that. Sorry.
That's fine. I don't disagree with anything you said, particularly in that review. I think I'm higher on the puzzle-solving gameplay.
I think the gameplay is exceptional,
and the story, I don't care. Viewfinder wasn't a narrative-driven experience for me. It was a gameplay-driven experience. Like, that was sort of how I experienced it. Right, I was so enjoying like every twist of the mechanic. Like every time it was like, here's a new thing. You know, like when you go to a different island. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you go, it's been like 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's fair.
When you go to a different island, it's like, and it gives you a new mechanic, and I was just like, all right, fucking sick. Like figuring out the thing with the remote cameras and what you were supposed to do with them. You know, the ones where it's like on a timer.
Yeah,
and then figuring out how all that worked, I was just like, this is fucking holy shit. This is like Tears of the Kingdom. What can I build levels of? Like it's tickling my brain in the same places. Where it's just like, hey, what if I build a hot air balloon with all these propellers on it? You know what I mean? It's like, hey, what if I take a photo of this and then do this? And it's like, oh, that worked.
Yeah, no doubt about the gameplay mechanics that they've made for this is with the use of the camera and everything. It's exceptional. It's second to none. How it transitions and everything, I loved it. I thought it was really, really well done for that, and the level design is just brilliant. I really, really enjoyed the level design. The dialogue and like narrative, the dialogue and voice acting, like I think really, really works. Like I love the cat. The cat was adorable.
I did pet the cat every time I could find it.
Yeah, so did I. Every single time it was
like,
for it and everything. But for me, gameplay these days is not king.
Sure.
For me, it's always gone back to maybe second or third. For me, it's all you need to have something that's going to capture me narratively wise, and that's why it lowers down for me. That's why, like the narrative. Yeah, I agree what you're saying. That I agree with what you say. It's more mechanic wise that pushes the thing forward and everything. But there is a story there with what they're trying to do and everything.
Yeah,
and it just didn't captivate for
and
me
that's
for
fair.
that. But the mechanics wise. Yeah, but the mechanics-wise, it's incredible. It is an exceptional mechanic-wise and level design. I absolutely adore it for that. For me, don't put the narrative in. I understand what they're going for and everything. Yeah. Just take it out, and I'll always be saying, this is a 5 out of 5 game. Play this game. You must play this game type of thing.
Yeah, it's like there was a need to... It felt like the developers felt like there was a need to explain like how this place could exist, right?
Yeah.
And there wasn't. You didn't need to do that. You could have just had it be this puzzle game where you go to these different places, and there's a cat, and the cat's just like chilling and ruminating on existence, and like without the other part of the story, and that would probably have been a better narrative experience. I agree with that. I think for me with the gameplay as king thing, it depends on the game. Like I take it game by game. Like if Octopath Traveler 2, which I know I go back to a lot, but it was one of my favorite games of the year, so suck it. Like, if that had had a weak narrative, like, I probably would have been harsher on that game overall because it puts the narrative in front of you so much. Whereas with Viewfinder, like, the narrative's kind of off to the side, and you can just sort of, you know, most of it's told through audio logs. So it gets out of the way and lets me just take pictures and like pick up all the drawings and stuff, and like that was the joy of that game for me. Whereas the narrative was just like, stop talking, man. Like, I just want to do another puzzle.
No, but for me, like, I wanted to know about it, and that's the thing about it, because they have it in there. I wanted to find out.
Sure,
more.
that makes sense.
Yeah, so by the end of it, I was just like, huh, okay, what happened at the end? All right, that's great, and hopefully, yay, type of thing.
We solved climate change. That's what happened.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
But
yeah, but over the night, it's just like,
yeah, no, it was like the minute you, and I guess spoilers for Viewfinder, if you haven't played it, go play it before you watch the rest of this review. The minute, like, near the beginning of the game, when the simulation breaks and like you go out and you push a couple of buttons and then you go back in, and I was like, ooh, are they going to do something interesting with like the real world and stuff? And like, no, that's the only time that ever happened. Yeah. So like after like an hour after that, where it never happened again, I was just like, okay, I'm just going to file that at the back of my mind as maybe they were going to do something and they ran out of time. Like, maybe something just didn't come together. But like for me, like, I'm so invested in whatever puzzle is next. Like that, I don't. Yeah, that I just didn't think, like, in the way that you were searching for more because it was there. Like, I just didn't really think about it. Like I clicked an audio log and then I just wandered off to go and see if I could find another collectible. Yeah,
that's fair as well. Like, I completely understand that or whatnot. I think what it is about it is just like I said years ago. I think a few years ago, but for me, was always king was gameplay type of thing, and new other things can be molded into it and whatnot. But now, like, it's just it's been rotated, which is really, really weird for me.
I think you go through phases, right? Like, I'm in the phase where it's like I take each game as it comes.
I do that.
Like, because when I reviewed Final Fantasy 16 a few weeks ago, and I said, listen, the fucking fighting was sick, and like I even said, like, the boss fights, the big boss fights, were some of the best boss fights in Final Fantasy. But I hated the game because the story and the world was so just poor, in my opinion, that it just dragged the whole game down. Whereas Viewfinder is a very similar thing. Like, this is one of the best puzzle games I've probably played in the last 5 years easily, and the story's not great, but I didn't, like, it didn't force itself on me.
Bother you.
Yeah, so it didn't bother me as much. Whereas like in a different game, it bothered me more. It's just because, like, no game makes it, like, you know, you can just take games as they come. Like the story in Zelda, it's fine. It's not that great though. That's not really why I'm playing.
Cancelled.
Oh no!
He's been cancelled again.
But yeah, no,
we proved that's fake, didn't we? I forgot about that.
But yeah, no, like the way the puzzle solving in this game is like, it's one of my favorite puzzle games, I think. From the way you just, like, there must be, most of those puzzles in that game, there must be like a lot of different ways that you can solve them. Like, if you and me sat down and compared our gameplay of every single like level, we probably both did something completely different for most of them.
Probably.
Yeah, and I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Like, it's design and everything. It's exceptional design work.
The only part,
max respect to the team.
Mad respect, and I love the filters as well. I accidentally turned on the 1-bit filter before I knew. Like, you know, when you get the camera and you can turn, there's a button so you can turn the filters on. I put the 1-bit filter on. I didn't know what I was doing, what I was changing. And then I went and did like a bunch of levels with all the photos I was taking with the 1-bit filters. And I was like, oh, I mean, this was cool the first time, but Jesus, I wish I could turn this off.
Stop it.
Fuck. Yeah. But yeah, no, that was a cool little thing. You could get like different filters. The only thing I didn't really like about the game was the last gauntlet of puzzles, where it imposes that time limit on you, and you've got to solve a bunch of different puzzles quite quickly. I wasn't a fan of that,
but I didn't mind that because of the accessibility options.
That's fair.
Yeah, I used the accessibility options for it, so that's why for me I was okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I had that flat experience of I started it with the settings that I had, and I just went through with the same settings. And I do that a couple of times. It's more just like it's probably partially the fact that I just don't like timed challenges like that in games in general. You know, like a game that hasn't had a ticking clock at any point in its gameplay suddenly drops one on you at the end when you've got to do like 10 puzzles in a row within a certain amount of time. And I'm just like, this isn't cool, man. Like, the whole time I've been able to take my time. And now you're telling me I've got to do like all of this in like a minute, and it's like, I can't. Like, do you realize what you're asking me to do, game? Like,
well, you obviously were able to do it.
Oh, so. I did it. Yeah, I did it. Like I already ran out of time a couple of times because I kept putting bridges in the wrong place. It's like, what? Like, it wasn't like I couldn't figure the puzzles out. It was just executing them. But yeah, there was a couple of puzzles in there where I was just like, how the fuck does this? What the fuck do you expect me to do here? And then like, it's a perspective shit. It's a trick of perspective. The puzzle just looks really complicated until you like flip a photograph around, you know what I mean, or something like that. Yeah. And you go, actually, it's really simple. Like, one of the demo levels, which is in the game, it took me ages to realize I need 2 batteries. There's only 1 battery. Where the fuck am I going to get another battery from? And it took me like 5 minutes to realize I could just take a photo of the battery, put the photo down, and pick the battery up, put it on the thing, and I was done. I love games like that. They make me feel so... Like, people always say they love puzzle games when they make... But this puzzle game made me feel so smart. And I'm always like, I love it when a puzzle game makes me feel so stupid. Because the solution is really simple, and I'm trying to overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
And then it snaps me back, and then that reframes my thinking, and I'm like, okay, right, so it's probably not as complicated as I think it is at first. Love that shit. But yeah, no, mine is a 4 stars as well. A strong 4. 4 stars. Yeah. I liked it a lot. Like, I polished it off in like 1 night last week.
Yeah, I did it in a few hours on.
Yeah, it's not a long game. I've seen people
Sunday?
complain. I've seen complaints that it's not a long game, but I feel like if they try to stretch out those mechanics any further with what they had in the game, it probably would have been a bit. You know what I mean? It probably would have stretched it a bit too far.
It's not expensive. It's not expensive, so.
Yeah, no, I don't mind a game that took me 4 hours, according to Steam. But I think I took a couple of breaks and left the game running. I do that with games. All of my play times are always inflated because sometimes I walk away for like half an hour and come back. But yeah, no, it was a good game. It was a really enjoyable game. I'm very happy I played it. What? Why do I have 2 copies of the podcast notes open? Should we move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
Should we switch our view to a different thing? No, it's terrible.
No.
It's time for Indie Game of the Week. This is the thing we do every week where we talk about a cool-looking upcoming indie game that Amy's probably played the demo for. This week's Indie Game of the Week is Pocket Wheels.
Pocket Wheels.
It's not just a racing game. It's also a 3D platformer where you drive a car around, and it's like Micro Machines, or I imagine Hot Wheels. Those Hot Wheels games that Skillup likes, and it's really cool.
Yeah,
it's really cool. I played the demo today of Pocket Wheels, and like it's like you're a little car in a big, like, you know, you're like a little like a little toy car, and imagine like it's just a room in a house. And there's like track set up, and you drive up a track, and you go to the city, which is just like, you know, like those city play sets that you would have if you were playing with cars when you were a kid. And it's like someone's just set one of those up and stuff, and then there's some stuff knocked over, and you're also like driving around real like tables and stuff. And it was fun. You just explore, and you find batteries to unlock the door to the next room, and you do some challenges. There was one challenge where you just had to drive in, like, you had to defeat a bunch of enemies who were trying to set you on fire in an arena. You just drive into them. There was another one which was a race against a clock across a track, and it was fun. That was an enjoyable thing to do for 15 minutes. I think the demo was like 15 minutes long. I love a demo that's not like an hour long.
That's fair. That's good.
But yeah, no, it was fun. It was definitely something I would definitely keep an eye out, and like if it drops at the right time, for me, I definitely like consider having a go on it and just like I found it on the Wholesome Direct page on Steam, like, and it is just that chill driving around experience.
That's awesome. That's what you want to hear at the end of the day. You want to have it. Sometimes you just want a chill game. So.
Exactly right. Like Baldur's Gate 3 is coming up for me. Imagine you chill for a bit. And this was one of the ways in which I chilled. Pocket Wheels. It's a fun game. The link to which is in the description of wherever you are listening to or watching this podcast, to the Steam page. Go wishlist the game. It really helps the developers. It's coming TBA.
It really, really does help the developers.
Really, really does. So I've been told all the time. And you know what? I'm an idiot, and I just trust people who know more than me. It's kind of how I get through life. Some other people out there should try it. But that's going to do it for Indie Game of the Week. Pocket Wheels. It's a great name for a game as well. For some reason, I enjoy saying it out loud. Pocket Wheels.
Pocket Wheels.
Pocket Wheels. Pocket Wheels. Pocket Wheels. You put it in your pocket and run around with.
Like it's retro.
Yeah. And it's got the flames like that. I imagine like the logo like skids onto the screen and it does like the flames like come after it, you know, like and like you get this riff and like the guy does the thing on the guitar where he goes as it like comes in like that kind of. Hey, developer Florian Wolf, if you're listening to this, you can have this idea for your trailer.
We have just sold the game for you.
You can make this trailer. It's cool. Don't worry about it. But yeah, no. So we'll do a little quick halftime break, and then we'll do we'll let Moody shine in his time to shine. Cut that out of the podcast. We're back. It's Moody's time to shine. Oh no. I really need to remember to cut that out.
Let's start with The Witcher producer blames Americans and social media for Netflix series Simplified plot.
Yeah, so I pulled this from Eurogamer. I just copy-pasted a few sentences from Victoria Kennedy, who wrote a bunch of stuff, including what I'm about to read. Tomek Baginski, executive producer on Netflix's The Witcher, has blamed American audiences and social media sites such as TikTok for the series' simplified take on the book's plots. Plural. Quote, there are a lot of understandable reasons why controversial decisions are made, but the viewer does not have this context, so sometimes it hurts because something was better in the book, end quote. The producer reflected on a previous attempt to create Hardcore 44, a variation on the Warsaw Uprising that ultimately never got made. Quote, I tried to explain there was an uprising against Germany, but the Russians were across the river. And on the German side, there were also soldiers from Hungary or Ukraine. For Americans, it was completely incomprehensible, too complicated, because they grew up in different historical contexts where everything was arranged, America is always good, and the rest are the bad guys, and there are no complications, end quote.
He's not wrong there.
I was going to make a point about that specific sentence. Baginski said plot simplification makes sense when, quote, a series is made for a huge mass of viewers with different experiences from different parts of the world, and a large part of them are Americans, end quote. In fact, he said they are, quote, necessary, end quote. The producer stated he finds this apparent need to simplify a series' plot, quote, painful, end quote, but ultimately the showrunners have to, quote, make these decisions and accept them, end quote. He also said, quote, the higher level of nuance and complexity will have a smaller range. It won't reach people, end quote. I have some thoughts. Let you go first, though.
I'm curious what your thoughts go.
I got a lot of thoughts about stuff. I really, really agree with him about the Hardcore 44 thing he said about that, where it was like, hey, there's this, they teach Americans that America is good and everybody else is bad. And I vibe with that so hard because that's not necessarily an indictment of the entertainment industry. That's an indictment of the way like certain countries like teach history, because we have that problem in this country. Where it's like, if schools teach about the British Empire, it's always, oh, you know, the sun never set on the British Empire. It was the British Empire was such a great and powerful and mighty thing, and it was a force for good in the world. And then, like, you know, you leave school, and then you learn that actually, no, the British Empire was horrible. It was awful. It was just, yeah, it was one of the worst things that ever happened to the world. But you don't get taught that as a kid. And then that's where you get that British exceptionalism from. And I imagine America is similar, where it's like, I'm sure when they teach World War II in American schools, they teach the part from June 1944 onwards, and they don't really talk about the part beforehand, apart from Pearl Harbor.
There's that part. They forget about the rest, and then
yeah, it's like, wait, but you said that World War II started in 1939. D-Day wasn't until 1944. What happened in the years between then? Shut up, Timmy. Detention. Go to the principal's office. But like, he makes a really good point with that, I think. But I don't necessarily think that's a problem with necessarily just the entertainment industry. It's more a problem with how people are taught history.
Yeah, no doubt about it. For me, I'm in a stage of where my life is at. If there's already a product out there for something, I don't really care if it follows the book or not. If they want to give us something different and new, go for it. I have no problem with that. And I don't give a fuck what the rest of the book readers have said. You've read it. You've read it. You've already experienced it. You don't need to have to see it on...
Well, they changed
live action version, everything like that.
They changed this from the book, and it's like, okay, good.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, and everything like that. So
I was talking to a friend about The Expanse, right? And you know who doesn't exist in The Expanse novels? Drummer. Drummer was a character in The Expanse novels, but she had like a tiny role in one of the books, and they expanded her role in the TV show. Good, she was a great character.
Like what we saw in I can't remember if it was the 3rd or the 4th episode of The Last of Us. 2 characters. One who really is very one note in the game. I'll stand that to the end of days. And one is technically dead in the game.
Sure.
And whatnot. And they flushed out a story that was not only arguably one of the best episodes of the entire series, it just grounded and elevated 2 characters, especially at least one, into a character that you were like, yeah, I like you. You're a bit of a dick still. You're like, I probably, if the pandemic if the end of the world didn't happen, I probably would not have wanted to speak to you. But
sure,
yeah, you know, but you deep down, you're a good person type of thing.
Yeah,
and that's what they did. And like, so it's like changing it up. It's always a great thing. Now, if you're not, I haven't watched the 3rd season of The Witcher yet. I'm still not too sure because Henry Cavill's left.
I haven't watched the 2nd
season. But like, if they've changed things from the book and to simplify it, don't care. I really don't care. Now, if people have wanted what's in the book on live action, then I don't care for you. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna lie.
So, to use your example of that episode of The Last of Us, which again, we reviewed the series earlier this year, and that was my favorite. That was by far my favorite episode of the season.
I think overall was mine as well. I won't deny that.
Like, was I a bit gutted that I didn't get to see Bella Ramsey and Nick Offerman just argue for an episode? Yeah, that would have been fun. I love both of those actors, so that would have been cool to see them go at each other like they do in the game. But they took a story in the game that works in the context of the game, because you can't separate yourself in the video game from the viewpoint of Joel and Ellie. Like that's not how the video game works, but you can do that in a TV show. So they took a story that works in the context of the video game being a video game and translated it into a much better episode of television. It was better. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. It was better than it was in the game.
100 times better. Completely agree with you, and you're spot on and everything. And yeah, so like, it's like, and it's not a lot wrong. Like, Americans, we've seen in the last few years how stupid you are. Like, we've done stupid, but when you guys do stupid, you've gone stupid. Like, for our stupidest thing is
Brexit.
We voted for Brexit.
Yeah.
Your stupidest thing, you put an idiot in the White House.
Yeah, and Donald Trump as well.
Yeah, it's like, come on, guys. Yes, I stole that joke from one of the comedians out there. I can't remember his name. He's an English guy. He'll get over it. But either way, it's like, yeah, it's like, I don't like. I have no problems with these things. Like, if there's already a material out for a certain story, I don't need it adapting. If that's what they want to do, that's fine. But if they want to change it up and do something different, I have no problem with that whatsoever. Because if I want to see the original thing, if I want to, I will go and read that or listen to an Audible and everything like that. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
So I can, if other people do, sucks to be you guys.
Like, there's legitimate criticisms to be had where it's like, oh, you cut this. Like, I remember the Lord of the Rings cut out the end, basically the ending, which was amazing considering the last film had like 7,000 endings, and it cut out the one from the book. And like, there was I have a critique with that basically because like that was kind of a key theme of the story that you cut out. The films were still amazing though, but like the thing about translating from one medium to another medium is they're different mediums. You can't just take a book and reformat it into a script and then shoot that. You will make a terrible TV show, like, because that's just the difference between books and TV shows. That's just how it works. There's a reason it's called an adaptation and not a translation. Like, but to the point of that he's making about it's all TikTok and Americans' fault. Like, what was it? The last point, actually. Oh yeah, the higher level of nuance and complexity will have a smaller range, and it won't reach people. I don't know. I don't know that that's always true. I think people do vibe with nuance and complexity in their fiction. Like,
yes,
I don't think Beginski's right there. Like, I think. Yeah, sure. Lots of people go to see the popcorn film or whatever, but like I think like there's a big audience out there for thoughtful, complex, nuanced stories. So I do disagree with that.
Yeah, I disagree with what you're saying there. I agree with you there. Like the Marvel films, like we're just using them as the leads right now. They're sucking right now, but they're easily sorted. If they get good writing back again and everything like that, that winning fixes everything and it's going to be fine again. It's like a lot of the films lately have sadly sucked, and it's been because of the writing and everything. So
it's been because of the simplification. Like, I feel like the reason the Winter Soldier has, and I know I haven't watched Marvel films for a good few years now, but the reason the Winter Soldier was such a favorite film of mine. I'm trying. Yes, it was the Winter Soldier. Was because it was both complex and nuanced for the first 2/3 of the film, and I feel like a lot of people feel the same way. Where it's like the Winter Soldier was one of their like favorites or top 3 or top 5 or whatever because it was interesting. Like, and I don't mean like other Marvel films aren't interesting. I mean, sorry, I probably mean complex and nuanced because it wasn't just Captain America runs around and punches people in the face. It was. Oh, it's a spy thriller. Cool.
Yeah. This is the thing about, for me, the first season of The Witcher is complex and nuanced.
It is.
It's just people complained about it at the same time. So I think, has he listened to the complaints too much and he's oversimplified it? That's the thing about it then as well. Because like I've like multiple people saying they got really confused of how it was structured, the episodes and everything like that. And like, hey, you didn't know how far
it was. As someone who did watch the first season of The Witcher, it was a little bit hard to grasp because it's not obvious that the 3 storylines aren't taking place concurrently. They're out of sync. But I feel like taking this, like, this is one of the reasons I like watching TV shows like quickly, not week to week, is because when you take the season as a whole and it all converges at the end and you get to see the full picture of the season, it's like, oh yeah, cool, I get it. That's awesome. Like, I love the way they've set that up. I don't like the criticism of like, oh, it's all American audiences and it's all TikTok, because it's like I could take a snapshot of YouTube about anything and I could take a small snapshot of videos and I could go, look, see, YouTube doesn't get fucking Star Wars or whatever, you know what I mean? Where it's like, no, there's a lot of like, just like on TikTok, just like on YouTube, just like on any social media platform, there's a lot more going on than just the loudest voices. And was it TikTok's fault that no, it was the showrunners made choices when they were adapting the source material. That was it. Like most most, and I'm going to say all, most like TV showrunners like aren't making their TV show for
the audience.
The audience.
Yeah.
Because that's not how you make good art.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are gonna hate to hear that, but that's just how it works. Like, you know, it's pretty much a maxim around writing circles where it's like, don't give the audience what they want.
The worst thing I think what's hurt The Witcher is basically obviously Henry Cavill leaving, but also like Henry Cavill I think has come out and stated like, oh, it's been stated that one of the reasons he's left because they weren't sticking to the books as much and everything like that, or they wanted to change things and everything. And that's why I think, and sadly, like when it all was revealed that it was obviously that when Henry Cavill was announced that he was leaving, a lot of the whole team I bet got completely shat on like crazy because everyone they all did and everything, and I can appreciate it. No one deserves to be abused or whatsoever. You can be annoyed, like I was disappointed. I was like, no, I love Henry Cavill. He's God, for God's sakes. And
Superman, no.
Yeah, and then he left, and then
that didn't happen. Yeah. James Gunn. A lot to answer for. No, I get what you mean though. I do get what you mean. It's like, you know, I think fandom is so loud nowadays.
Yeah, too loud.
and yeah, it's too loud. And maybe we could dial the volume down a bit, but also like I think people give fandom too much credit.
Yeah.
I don't think like the
Snyderverse.
Yeah, right. It's like, yeah, you know, like I don't think lots of people talking about probably a few people talking really loudly about, oh, they've changed it too much from the books or whatever, or they haven't, you know what I mean? I don't think that's influenced the production of The Witcher TV show at all. I think the people running that show are making the show that they want to make. And like the other thing you've got to remember is books don't have budgets. TV shows do. Like you've got to pick and choose what you do, you know. A lot of the critiques I've seen of Star Trek Picard season 3, for example, just come down to the fact that they had to choose what they were going to do, what they were going to spend their money on.
Yeah.
They couldn't have everything that they wanted to put in that we probably wanted to see. It's like you're going to pick your battles sometimes.
Yeah. Some of us wanted the Sovereign class instead of the Galaxy class. But we got the fucking Galaxy class. Am I annoyed with that? No.
We got one of the fat ones.
But at the end of the day, still, Worf, what the fuck did you do to the Sovereign class, Worf? What did you do to the Enterprise E, Worf?
But yeah, no, like, it's like, I know, like, you know, they're talking about Star Trek again, but it kind of ties into this, where it's like, I watched an interview with Terry Matalas, who is the showrunner of Star Trek Picard. And one of the things people have been talking about from episode 1 to episode 10 was, have they got Kate Mulgrew in it? Are they going to have Kate Mulgrew, like, come back as, like, Admiral Janeway? And it was like, Terry Matalas said, yeah, we wanted to, but we couldn't afford it. We ended up having to get Tim Russ. And then they got Tim Russ. They got Tim Russ, and it's like, well, we've got Tim Russ. We can't afford to pay Kate Mulgrew as well. It's like you can't afford it. And then there's a reality to TV show making, which is money is not infinite. Yeah,
that is the truth. For me, for that though, they said her name so many times in it. It sounded like they were hitting, like,
it's like Beetlejuice.
She's coming. You're gonna see her and everything, and it's just like that's the only thing I wouldn't have done. Just don't mention it that much. But either way, I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, it's
also a money thing. It is a money thing.
To use a different example from the same show, it's like they kept using the 10 forward set because they had to spend a fuck ton of money on the Enterprise at the end of the show, you know, so they had to save money. So it's like, yeah, it was a bit silly that they kept going back to the holodeck all the time, but it's like, if they didn't do that, they couldn't afford to rebuild the Enterprise.
That's true.
So, like, you know, and like, there's that reality of it as well.
There is compromise.
Like, something cool could be in the books, and like, you know, you're trying to adapt it, and there's this poor producer looking at a spreadsheet of money, just going, how do we do this? Like, we need this many artists, and we need to build this set, and we need to do this, and it's like, sometimes it's just not possible.
It isn't. So just lay off it, people. Just lay off them. Just lay off the team. If you don't enjoy the show, that is fine. That's completely a subjective thing. But if you're being an asshole and everything towards them, just Throw yourself in the bin and throw yourself.
Everybody
in the
needs to stop fighting. It's cool to have discussions and disagreements and debates and critique things, but like everybody needs to stop fighting each other over these things.
Yeah.
It's not TikTok's fault. It's not America's fault. It's not the showrunner's fault. It's not Henry Cavill's fault. I'm talking specifically about The Witcher. We all know America is to blame for a lot of things.
See Oppenheimer.
The Witcher season. Yeah, go watch Oppenheimer and find out some of those things.
Oh God. Let's go. My brain farted there.
It's because of the joke. It just lodged everything.
Let's go to congratulations things. PlayStation 5 has passed 14 million units sold.
Yes, it has. It hit the milestone almost as fast as the PS4 did, but it is worth noting that the PS4 didn't have a global pandemic that affected the availability for years to contend with. So, like, you know, maybe it would be ahead of the PS4 if you could have gotten a PlayStation for the first 2 years of its life.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, like, congratulate, like, yeah, I love the PlayStation 5. It is a great console. I love the controller. Like, most of my gaming right now has been on PlayStation 5. Like, even though, like, we bought Viewfinder on the PC, I bought it on PS5 because I was like, I want to play it on my PS5 and good that. So I played it on that. So they got 2 payments from us.
You're welcome.
But no, yeah, congratulations and everything like that. It was always going to hit its number really fast. Like, I think I'm pretty sure, have we heard that Xbox is rumored to be like around the 20 or 30 million units past?
I don't know. Like, they're being pretty cagey with their sales. They're mostly focusing on revenue because they're mostly focusing on Game Pass.
Because that's how high their sales are when it comes to their consoles.
I don't think it's doing as badly as the Xbox One did, I think. Yeah. But no, the PS5 is doing really well. It's probably the unit sold number is probably going to shoot up from this number, because it's just been on sale. Like, it's been like 70 quid off for the last week, in the UK.
And it is like there's rumors of the new build version of it coming soon in it. So like within the next 18 months, I would say.
Do you think because of the pandemic and the availability issues? I've said that twice now. Do you think because of the pandemic, twice in one episode? That's weird. But do you think because of the availability issues, do you think this console generation cycle is going to be longer than sort of the typical?
Well, what did Microsoft say? They think it's going to be 2028.
So that would be, I guess, that would be a year extra, because usually a console cycle is like 7 years. The PS3 and Xbox 360 one was longer for some reason. I don't remember why, but.
The banking crisis.
Oh yeah, it was the banking
crisis
thing. Yeah,
banking crisis. Housing crisis.
Both. One caused the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think 2028 is when it's going to drop? Do you reckon, or do you think maybe they'll push it a bit further?
The question really is ultimately is that how many iterations can they really go here? Because visuals, I think, are pretty darn. I don't think there's really much more you can really bloody do to it. If I'm proven wrong, fantastic. I'm always happy to be proven wrong.
Sure.
But so for me, potentially yes. I think but it probably won't be long. It might be a year.
That is a good question, actually. It's like console generations have generally. I mean, I know we had this discussion not that long ago, but it's like they're generally pushed by like, hey, we can make graphics look so much better on the new consoles. But it's like, how much further can we take this? Realistically,
yeah. like we're getting to the end of the line.
Yeah, we must be. Like at a certain point, it's like maybe we could focus on other things. Like technology wise, like maybe there's other things that we could focus on to.
Like for all we know, it comes out in 2028. We have the PlayStation Direct and Xbox's showcases, like to show off the new console and see the new trailers built for those consoles, and we see them and go, wow. And then we go back to, like, say, the first trailer, like Spider-Man Miles Morales trailer, and we go, shit, that looks old.
Maybe.
I want that, you know? That'd be great to hear that, but I'll also be like, no, I'll be very surprised.
That Unreal 5 tech demo did look impressive, but Unreal 5 is designed for the current generation of consoles.
So Unreal 7.
Well,
I mean, 6.
Unreal 6, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, no, there's a point. It's like how much more can we push the graphical envelope?
True. We'll see.
It is interesting to go from, saying 2000 to even just like 2005 to then go to 2010. Like, there was a time when like graphical fidelity was like increasing like wildfire. Like, it was so, like, if you look at a game from 2000 and compare it to a game from 2010, like, it's night and day. If you compare a game from 2013 to 2023, it's definitely a narrower. It's definitely like a narrower sort of like improvement, but there is still a gap for it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Because like you've seen it, like the PlayStation 3 Last of Us compared to what the Last of Us remake for the PS5, like it is night and day when it comes to its visuals. It's disgusting how different it really looks. But anyway, yeah, we'll see. It's going to be interesting. Let's scream at a company, Amy. A few months after announcing layoffs, Take-Two pays its top 2 executives $72 million.
That's what happened. Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick and company president Karl Slatoff are sharing a combined $72.3 million bonus this year. This is a performance-based bonus that's tied to performance metrics, including some related to player behavior, such as recurrent spending. This comes 5 months after Take-Two revealed a $50 million cost reduction program, later confirming this program had resulted in layoffs at its US publishing label private division. Let me do some maths here. They need to save $50 million, and they've spent $72 million in bonuses for 2 people. Now, I'm not a mathematical expert, Moody, but if they hadn't given them the $72 million bonus and instead kept that, then that's more than $50 million, right?
I think so. I think that's how math works.
Okay, cool. So
cool.
I need to get on the phone to Take-Two. I've just solved their cost-cutting problems. Someone get me Strauss Zelnick's number.
Yeah. As always, when it comes to the cost of living crisis and everything else right now, CEOs are the ones who thrive in these type of places and everything like that. Executives and everything like that. They get the big payouts and everything like that. I'm not saying they don't deserve bonuses or anything like that, but when they already are paid exceptional amounts of money, but just from their wage alone, to deserve a 72 million piece of the pie for 2 people, it's when you've just fired, I don't know how many numbers it was for the layoffs. When you just need 15, could have put that into the cost reductions and not by not firing people, it would have helped a lot of people and everything. Like people, like we're going through a cost of living crisis, people, and people think it's just like, ooh, I'm going to sack all you so I can get $72 million and everything like that. And it's just like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, we're making the difficult decision to fire a bunch of you so I can still get my bonus. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it just continues the terrible trend of businesses out there. So
it does.
Where are we?
Fuck you, Take-Two.
Let's go Nintendo.
GTA sucks. Sorry.
Let's go Nintendo twice in a row. Nintendo had a record quarter thanks to Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh yeah, there's some good numbers in here. Some fun numbers. Nintendo announced that sales of its first-party software reached their highest level for a quarter since the launch of the Nintendo Switch in 2017.
Launched with that?
The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has sold 18.51 million units as of June 30th, which is more than half the sales of its predecessor Breath of the Wild, which stands at 30.65 million. Tears of the Kingdom sales have constituted, quote, approximately half, end quote, of all first-party Nintendo software sold in the company's first quarter, which was April to June. Switch console sales rose by 13.9% year-on-year. Software sales rose by 26.1% year-on-year. And Nintendo also reconfirmed the release schedules of its upcoming first-party titles, with Metroid Prime 4 still being listed as a Switch title, which will become relevant when we talk about the next news story.
Yeah, wow, that's like amazing. Like, congratulations. Like Nintendo, like the pandemic proved Nintendo just need to release one game and they're going to be absolutely fine with when they released that housing game. What's the game again?
Animal Crossing. Someone asked me about that. It was like, is Animal Crossing good? And I went, it basically got me through lockdown.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, and so you had that. Like they proved that just completely proved it for them. So pretty deep down, as they basically have kind of stated that there's not. Even though there's a Mario game coming out, I don't think it's good. It's not to the level of what F1 I think is.
It's not a 3D Mario. It's not basically the next Odyssey, like whatever's after Odyssey.
Whatnot. Yes. So it's going to be like, congratulations. Like, Tears of the Kingdom is exceptional. So congratulations for that.
Sorry.
Eventually, I might unwrap it and give it a go. I don't know.
Well, you know what? Like I said, I'm not doing a review of it until December. You got plenty of time.
Well, your review is going to be. It's my favorite game of the year. There.
I'm just gonna hold my Switch up to the camera and show you how many hours I've played it for. Like it's sold a shit ton of units. It's probably gonna outsell Breath of the Wild.
Will it hit that bell by the end of the year? What do you think?
I think
4 months left.
I think it could. Like Breath of the Wild came out and had a long tail on it because it came out with the Switch. So people were buying their Switch and getting Breath of the Wild for a while. Like I bought my Switch like months after it came out and got Breath of the Wild, and then didn't like very much. But I like Tears of the Kingdom, so I feel like I'm on my redemption arc. But yeah, like I think like the difference now is like everyone, well not everyone, but a lot of people have a Switch, so a lot of people are going to be buying Tears of the Kingdom. So I think that number's going to rise faster, just purely because of that. Do I think it can? Yeah, I think it could. Do I think it will? Maybe. I'd say it's a strong possibility that it breaches 30 million. It's still got 2 more quarters.
No, I'm just meaning the India. I don't care about the quarter thing.
No, that's what I'm saying. By the end of the year, there's still 2 more quarters till the end of the year. So, yeah, I think so. I think it could.
Are you meaning the financial year here?
Yes.
I'm not talking about the financial year. I'm just meaning by the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm saying by the end of this year, there's still 2 more of these quarters that we're talking about by the end of the year. There's still 6 months till the end of the year. Yes, I think Tears of the Kingdom could sell 30.65
there's only
million
4
units.
months left of the year.
July, August, September, October, November,
We're in August.
December. Yes,
we're in August.
I know, but we're talking about numbers that ended in June.
Oh, I don't care about that.
Like 18.5 million units was June.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
You're asking me if it's going to sell 30 million by December. I'm taking the numbers that we have. And
well, I wasn't meaning the numbers from what we have. I was just meaning from August.
Well, I don't know how many it's sold.
I'll take a guess. It's a simple yes or no.
I was answering the question, but giving you my logic behind it. It's like I don't know what else to do. Fucking Jesus, this is a podcast, Moody. It's not one word fucking answer. This isn't Who Wants to Be a Millionaire where you say A, B, C, or D and then lose a bunch of money. You asked me a question and I answered it. God damn it. Now I've forgotten what I was talking about.
Nintendo's successor reportedly not coming until at least late 2024.
Dev kits have apparently been passed out to third-party developers according to VGC and Eurogamer sources. The report also says that Nintendo's next console will feature an LCD screen instead of an OLED screen and will continue to use physical media via cartridges.
Is LCD better than OLED?
No, so OLED's the new version.
Yeah.
LCD was the original version.
So they're going back to the original version. So that means they're going to re-release an OLED version 2 or 3 years later.
Probably because what's happened is the cost of an OLED screen is probably like a lot more because of the cost of living crisis. So they probably don't want to release a console that's massively expensive. So they're going back to LCD screens.
Sounds about right.
The thing is, it's like an OLED screen is nice. It's really nice, but the Switch is so small that the difference isn't. The difference is noticeable, but it's not as big of a deal as if, say, you were looking at a big screen TV.
Yeah, agreed. That's true. Yeah, they'll release it when they're ready. They don't care. Like the Nintendo Switch numbers went back up because of Tears of the Kingdom. So, like, if people want a Switch 2 or whatever the next Nintendo console is, stop buying a Switch.
Like, how many people do you think triple dipped on buying a Switch? A Switch Lite and a Switch OLED.
Fuck knows, but it's too many, I'll tell you that. It's like, it's insane. But then you throw in like, And then people have multiple switches. That's the thing about it. Like where you just stay there. They would have said, "Well, I know I've already got a Switch, and I've got an OLED Switch, but that Tears of the Kingdom Switch, though.
That Tears of the Kingdom Switch, it does look. I've seen it. It does look nice. Yeah, that like Animal Crossing Switch was nice.
For Violet and Scarlet last year, I was thinking, I was tempted. I was like,
nice.
Oh yeah, that's a sexy console. The shame the game didn't back a fucker up for either way. They will. As long as until those numbers start going down, they'll delay it and delay it and delay it as long as they want.
I just realized there's a good chance. There's a good chance that by the end of the year, there'll be a Pokemon game that I'm a bigger fan of than you. That was why I was laughing. I was just like, well, actually, I'm really enjoying Pokemon Violet.
I haven't played it though. I haven't restarted.
How the tables have turned. Anyway, back to the story.
Isn't it the turntables or something?
Yeah, but I didn't want to do the Office quote this time.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no. The thing about the Switch successor that everybody says is we're in desperate need of, which we're not. The games that Nintendo are releasing in the next 12 months are going to run on the Switch just fine. But what we were just talking about console generations is like it's usually a 7-year cycle. I know Nintendo broke with that, but it's because they were losing money on the Wii U. They had to do something, so they released a new console early. But it's 2024 will be 7 years since the Switch. So like anyone expecting a new console before then is sorry, that's not how this works. That's not how the game's played.
The thing is about it though, I disagree partially on the part of like that the industry doesn't need it or something like that. The
industry needs it. Nintendo doesn't need it.
The industry needs a fucking new Nintendo console. Like, oh my god. Like, I partially understand, just partially. I disagree with it because of the customer wide, where that guy from Microsoft said, or the developer said that Microsoft needs to fucking get rid of the S altogether and everything like that. I understand it to a certain point. I don't agree with it at all, but I do understand it. And it's like, Jesus. But either way.
Yeah, sure, mate. I'm sure your job would be way easier if everybody had Xbox Series X's, but then you wouldn't sell as many games because not as many people would own a games console.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is spot on, no doubt about that. But either way, speaking of Microsoft apparently are going to have a massive presence at Gamescom.
They sure are, Moody. It's quite a large presence at Gamescom from what I've heard. So they're going to have a big booth. A big booth with 25 titles that will be playable, including Stalker 2, Payday 3, Towerborn, Armored Core 6, Jusant, Persona 5 Tactica, and Cyberpunk 2077 Phantoms of Liberty. There's going to be 2 games there that aren't going to be playable. They're going to be theater presentations, which is Starfield and Forza Motorsport.
Yeah, they ain't going to let anyone play that anymore now. So...
on August 23rd, 24th, and 25th, Microsoft are going to host 3 days of 3-hour live streams featuring deeper dives into, quote, some of the highly anticipated games at Gamescom 2023 with gameplay, developer chats, and community segments, end quote.
When's Gamescom? Sorry for putting in. When's Gamescom? It's at the end of the month,
yeah, it's like a couple of weeks, yeah.
Basically, when Gamescom's around, that's when they're going to give the codes out. For the review codes and everything, because it releases on the 6th of September, so it's like the back end. So yeah, for me, they might be nice, unlike Baldur's Gate, and like give the code
which doesn't have a review score because everyone has published a review in progress. I looked that up. I was like, every single site is like.
No score,
but not yet. But yeah, no. If anyone's worried about Starfield and Forza Motorsport only having theater presentations, there's like tons of games do this. Like, as an EGX veteran, I've been to so many theater presentations for games that just haven't been playable for one reason or another. They're actually quite fun.
Yeah, I've only done one, and the one I did was Mafia 3.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, and like I didn't have the attention compared to what I was then or anything like that. So when I saw it, and like I was talking to me, my missus was like, "I that didn't look too bad and everything like that. But now I look back on it, I was thinking, holy shit, that fucking thing was broken.
Yeah, no, wait, hold on.
And then played the game and said, oh, this is broken.
Yeah, it was busted up. No, I've done loads. I did, speaking of broken games, I did a theatre presentation for Cyberpunk 2077.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. They had air conditioning in their little theatre. I did it on the same day. Earlier in that day, I had done a theatre presentation for Death Stranding as well. They did not have air conditioning. It was super hot inside the PlayStation little cube thing that we watched it in, and halfway through, I fell asleep.
How cozy you got.
In my defense, yeah, it was still. In my defense, that presentation was literally just the Gamescom thing that they'd shown a month before. Yeah, and I had to book a place for that. I was really disappointed. I was really disappointed, but I've had. I went to see a Hitman one. I saw a Deus Ex Human Revolution theater presentation. Like, they're quite good. Like, it's good to like get a developer standing in front of you sometimes and just talking you through the game.
Yeah.
That's true. And not just like sit down, play a contextless demo, and then go, oh, cool. But yeah, no, that's cool. And I watched the live streams last year that they did. Microsoft did, and they were pretty cool.
We're gonna do the Jeff Keighley thing, aren't we?
No, I don't. We need to talk about that because I don't think I want to. I've had enough of them.
Fantastic. Awesome. Let's stick with Microsoft. Final Fantasy 14 is apparently coming to Xbox. A Final Fantasy game is coming to Xbox, Amy. Repeat. A Final Fantasy game is coming to Xbox. This is not a drill, people. This is not a drill. Hold on to your butts.
It gets a bit spicier. So yeah, the MMO's coming out in spring 2024. It was announced at the Final Fantasy Fan Fest in Las Vegas, with Phil Spencer taking the stage, and he said a bunch of stuff about how cool Final Fantasy is. Square Enix CEO Takashi Kiryu also noted that other games will be heading to the platform, with Spencer responding he's looking forward to partnering on future games. PlayStation's Final Fantasy Monopoly might be coming to an end soon.
It all really depends. When it comes to the mainline games, it all depends on the dates and the exclusivity and whatnot. So
it sounds like the exclusivity deals might be at an end. No, I don't mean like all of the Final Fantasies are coming. What I mean is like the next set of Final Fantasy games that come out. Like
maybe
it sounds like they're coming to Xbox. 17 and whatever else. 9 remake.
Yeah. They'll get 17 and then they'll get I don't. Do you think they'll get 7? Or I think the future ones.
They could get 7 Part 3 and the other 2 at the same time, and as like a collection thing.
Oh my god, Mass Effect collection
Final
on
Fantasy Legend 7
yeah.
Legendary Edition. Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. Square Enix have figured out, hey, maybe we might be able to make some money if instead of just putting this on PlayStation, we just sell them on Xbox. I imagine like that with all of the Japanese games that are coming to Xbox now, like the Yakuza series, and you know, you've had From Software. Like have been like their marketing has been going on Xbox, not PlayStation, and the Persona series is coming out on Xbox as well. Like it might be that the money that PlayStation is paying for the exclusivity on Final Fantasy games might now not be as much as what Square Enix thinks they'll be able to get from selling Final Fantasy just on the Xbox.
Possibly. We'll see. Well, congratulations to all the Xboxers who have been crying out for Final Fantasy. You're finally getting one.
Say it's a popular one.
That is true. What is also popular, Amy? It's Resident Evil 2 Remake, apparently, is now the best-selling game in the series, Amy, apparently.
It is.
Is this true?
It is true. This is true.
Oh, my God.
It sold 12.6 million units. The previous bestseller was Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, which sold 12.4 million units.
The game that revived for Resident Evil.
The game that brought it back from the dead. Pun intended. The Resident Evil series altogether has sold 146 million units. That's a lot of units.
It's the thing, no, Capcom, I'm telling you this right now. Dino Crisis Remake. Easy 15 million units, guaranteed. You got dinosaurs in it, mate. Dinosaurs. That's all that you need. Thank you. I rest my case.
Speaking of dinosaurs, Capcom's best-selling game overall is still Monster Hunter World, with 19 million units sold.
They've shown it. Dinosaurs fucking sell. Give me my fucking Dino Crisis.
Their second best-selling game overall, Monster Hunter Rise.
I knew you were going to say that, yeah.
I think it's like 13 point something million.
I don't care. It's dinosaur killing cells, Capcom. You've got an IP that literally is killing dinosaurs.
As somebody who's bought Resident Evil 2 Remake twice, like, yeah, that's fair. I can see it being the best-selling one.
For the franchise, yeah. Resi 2,
yeah.
It was an exceptional game.
It was.
It was an excellent remake. Like, we weren't too sure what we're getting, but when we saw it and played it, it was just like, this isn't... It's like, it's up there with the standard of like Final Fantasy VII, Dead Space remake. For me, I'll go even like a Dragonetian remake. Like these are top tier remakes. I know I'm pretty sure I'm missing some and everything, but like
probably
some top tier main remakes of late and everything. So yeah, congratulations.
Last of Us Part 1.
Visually, just it's a remaster more than anything. It really is. I love it. I can play that game as much as I bloody want, but at the same time, even I have to say, it's just a visual. Like I said I think, did I review it? But I know
probably.
I don't know if I reviewed it or whatever. But like I stated, like I wish they took the combat system that they had made in 2 and put it in that, because it was still stiff. It still felt stiff and everything. It was like
it was still a PS3 game.
It felt like a PS3 game. It visually looked like a PS5 game, but it fucking felt like a PS3 game. It's basically Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts 3 felt like a PS2 game, but visually looked like like an early PS4 game, or and it's just like, God damn it.
Oh, Kingdom
Let's finish it off with, apparently, whatever this word's name is, says Baldur Gate 3 won't set standards for RPGs, apparently, I mean.
Apparently not. This was on the Friends Per Second podcast. Larian, co-founder and Baldur's Gate 3 creative director, whose name I didn't write down for some reason, was talking about the potential for the massive Baldur's Gate 3 to set a new standard for RPGs, and he replied, quote, "When it comes to standards change continuously, so I don't think that is something people should be worried about. When it comes to resources, if you talk about the likes of Microsoft or Activision Blizzard, they are large companies that have resources and can do whatever they want. Games like ours are very specific. It's what we wanted to make and what we specialize in, so it's logical that we have certain pedigree in creating it. Because we've been building these games for 20 years already, I don't think there's such a thing as a game that says, oh, this is the standard and everyone has to hold themselves to it, because tomorrow somebody else will come up with something new and cool," end quote.
He's not wrong there to the point, like, people always innovate and everything. I don't disagree with what he's saying there. But it does seem like what he's saying at the same time just feels like a knock on the game when it's about to come out. Which is really...
Fuck that game. Didn't you work on that game?
Yeah. And whatnot. So it's just like, wait, what? Can you say this like a couple of years down the line or something?
So I get the point he's trying to make. I think it's like a lot of people are saying there's been a lot of buzz before Baldur's Gate 3 has come out about this is the new standard for RPGs that everyone must like hit, and it's like, no, like that's not how games work. Like, yeah, sure, there are definitely like high points, there are peaks, right? Breath of the Wild was one, Elden Ring was another one, The Witcher 3, if you want to go back further, was another one, where it's just like, oh, these are doing something really fucking awesome, and like there's definitely room to take inspiration from these games, and I think Baldur's Gate 3 could potentially be another one of those moments. We'll see. I haven't played it or seen it, so I'll let you know in a month. But like, I like the sort of, no, because what's going to happen is we're going to make a game, and let's say it hits that peak, and it is that sort of exceptional thing. But in a couple of years, somebody else is going to make something, and it's going to be another peak. Like, I like the idea that I like the line of thinking that he's going on, which is basically like, it's not going to set a standard because the standard changes all the time.
Just right.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's where I was going with that. I found my way to the point in the end.
I still would have waited until after the game released.
It's an interesting point to make. Like, people are hype on Baldur's. Like, Baldur's Gate 3, I think, is going to be good. I just read somewhere that it's like within 3 hours of launch, it had like 400,000 concurrent players on Steam. So,
and that's fantastic for the team. And
considering
when you see that, that's amazing.
Considering it's 122 gigabytes, that's not bad. The number's only going to climb as more people finally download it.
That's true.
Not me though. I need to get my new hard drive in.
Declimb into my seat.
Oh, you mean a declimb? That was good. I liked it. There you go. Caught up. Instead of like continuing on with the podcast, like I think I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna commentate on this. So say our goodbye to Moody's Displates, everyone. Have a look at them. They're really nice. There's a Final Fantasy IX one and a Final Fantasy IX one, and is that another Final Fantasy IX one?
No, there's only one Final Fantasy IX.
Is that?
The other one's Final Fantasy X.
Oh, I've never played Final Fantasy X. So.
Yeah, the new one.
As far as I'm concerned, that one's also Final Fantasy IX. Keep lowering
that one. That's Final Fantasy X. Tidus.
And there's a Dragon Ball one and another Dragon Ball one.
Yeah.
And
so
this was supposed to be killing time while you load your desk. Dragon Ball Alien.
Yeah.
Don't know what that one is.
God of War.
A red one.
Your name.
Cool. It's hard to tell because of how small they are on the screen. Final Fantasy X?
Yeah. Then the red one next to it is Demon Slayer.
Cool. And then that's Mass Effect. And that's My Hero. Yeah. And that's Final Fantasy IX. And that's Dragon Ball again.
Exactly.
Bulbasaur, Charizard, Charmander. No. I can name Pokemon now, Moody.
You can.
I know.
I'm so happy you're enjoying it.
I know what Pokemon is. I know that's Bulbasaur, but they're not all Bulbasaur because that's an Ivysaur next to it. I know the difference now.
But then the other two small ones on the other side is a Bulbasaur.
Oh, you got a lot of Bulbasaur.
Yeah, I got a lot of Bulbasaur.
But I know the difference now.
That's
Are you
good.
Proud of me?
I am very proud.
That's the only reason I did this.
Exactly.
So that you would be proud of me.
I'm sick of Moody not being proud of me.
I'm going to make Moody proud of me somehow. What's happening next week? What is happening next week? So this is coming out early, like I mentioned at the top of the podcast, because I need to get it out so that I can replace my hard drive, which is arriving. It means that there might not be a stream this week. But there will be one next week, unless the graphics card does indeed go before the month is out, in which case I'm going to have bigger problems. But that's what's happening. What's also happening next week is, on the podcast side of things, we're doing a Vemba review, and Vitz Patel's joining us.
Hopefully, unless his hard drive breaks.
Unless, yeah. We'll put an asterisk next to everything, which is just unless Amy's hard drive breaks. But the plan right now is for Vitz to come and join us and review Venba with the two of us. He was very excited to bring. I mean, I'm always excited to see Vitz. Any excuse to chat to Vitz, but he'll bring a cool perspective. I've talked to him a little bit about his time with the game, and not much because I still need to play it. But yeah, that's cool. It'll be a fun podcast. Problem is,
Vitz is an awesome dude.
Vitz is an awesome dude. The problem is we've got the guest's curse going on at the moment, which is every time we invite someone on the podcast, something bad happens. So we can break the streak.
Fucking hope so.
The streak can break eventually, right?
Either way, the main story next week is a review.
The main story next week is going to be a review of Femba, no matter what.
The fucking industry could literally implode. That's Moody's time to shine topic.
Yeah, I could be sitting here, the industry of flames around me, and I'll just be like, "So, Vitz, how did you like Femba?"
Something like that. Yeah. Did you enjoy it?
Did you enjoy?
Awesome?
Hey, Vitz, did you enjoy Femba? And Vitz will just be sitting here going, "You know that, like Nintendo HQ, you know that your Nintendo HQ is literally crumbled into the sea, right?" And I'd be like, yeah, but Vemba was a pretty cool game, right?
Yeah. We'll talk about Godzilla eating Nintendo later.
We'll talk about the Godzilla attack in Moody's Time to Shine. That's Moody's Time to Shine, baby.
Yeah. And then when it starts, they'll be like, "We're all gonna die! Save yourselves!"
Yeah,
and
be like,
just jump out my window.
Yeah, they'll be like, "No, we'll do it. Like, we'll do it the proper way as well. It'll be okay. So indie game of the week, yeah, we'll do an indie game of the week, and then I'll be like, so this indie game came out, yeah, blah blah blah, and it's like, so halftime, and then we come back from halftime, and it's like, all right, so now it's time for Moody's time to shine, and then you do the thing where it's like, we're all gonna die, and everybody panics and runs and jumps out windows and stuff.
Save yourselves!
The structure is king. You got to keep the structure of the podcast intact.
And then was just there saying, all right, now I have to get this up really fast
Cool,
before I save myself.
Upload. Yep. And then like the glass of water I've got on the thing is doing the Jurassic Park. And I'm just like, okay, but I go really quick.
Hurry up, internet, come on!
Oh, go. No, I'm not going to put timestamps in this week.
Fuck you, timestamps.
No time.
Enjoy. And publish. Run!
I'm coming. Don't lock the bunker yet. So it'll be a fun podcast next week.
I hope so, yeah. Godzilla's
apparently guesting us alongside Vitz. That's a hell of a lineup. Joined by Vitz Patel and Godzilla. The only thing is, I don't have a 4-person outline.
Need a big ass outline.
You know, freaking work on that. I'll figure something out. There's a couple of games coming out next. Go on.
Apparently, yeah. No. Go.
There's a couple of games coming out next week that look interesting. We've got WrestleQuest on Tuesday, which is August 7th. That's coming to everything. And we've got... Oops, what did I just do? I hit a button. Oh, no.
Did you I think?
No. And we've also got Godzilla. We've also got Stray Gods, the role-playing musical, which is coming on Friday, which is August 10th, and that's also coming to everything. It's Moody's birthday before Stray Gods comes out. Apparently. So I learned at E3.
Yeah.
Those 2 games are coming out. Stray Gods looks cool.
Stray Gods does look cool. I'll
definitely take time out of Baldur's Gate to play Stray Gods.
Play a singing game.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I want to play a musical. That sounds awesome. Right. It's for some reason the humidity is really cranked up in the last 5-10 minutes in this room. Like,
because we started laughing.
Yeah, probably. So should we move on to OpenCritic Head-To-Head?
Do
it. Hit it. This is the game we play every week where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of upcoming games. Whoever guesses closest to the score at the time of recording gets a point. If you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. We're still waiting on Baldur's Gate 3. We talked about it on the podcast last week as a news topic as to why we're still waiting on Baldur's Gate 3. But we also tried to guess the review score of Venba. I guessed it would get an 82. Moody guessed it would get a 75. And at the time of recording, Venba has an OpenCritic average of 81, which means Amy gets the point. I've said Moody gets the point for like weeks straight now. It's embedded in my head, which puts the scores at Amy 21, Moody 17, with 2 draws. Looking forward to playing Venba.
Nice.
I might try and squeeze it in tomorrow before my hard drive arrives.
Yeah, Venba's like, it ain't a long game, so you'll be able to get through it.
Yeah, I've seen someone say it's like the length of a movie, which is it's cool. Like, yeah, I could probably like just sit down and play it tomorrow morning, like a late morning thing, and then rebuild my computer. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, we've got 2 games to guess this week, Moody. The first one is WrestleQuest, which is a wrestling RPG, which I found out about because Phil asked me questions about it. And I was like, there's a what? That was how I first learned that this existed. And I'm going to guess it's going to get a 76. Like Fallout.
Nice.
Yeah. you know, you've got to make the jokes every now and again.
65
on this podcast. I forgot you hate wrestling. 65.
Apparently I do. Yeah, apparently I do.
And the last game we're going to guess the OpenCritic average for is Stray Gods, the role-playing musical. Now, there's what I wanted to get, which is 100 from the concept alone. I did play the demo. I think most of the gameplay, like all of the gameplay in the demo, was literally just the dialogue choices, which are like the musical choices. Yeah. And I know there are a lot of review outlets that take issue with a lack of gameplay in games such as this. And if they review it, they might be like, you know, it's the best at like that Viewfinder review I quoted last week. It's the best RPG I've played in the last 5 years. 8 out of 10. I'm gonna go 87. I will when I don't click off. Not 8. 7. 87.
90.
Damn. I mean, that's how I feel like I'm gonna feel about it. Based on what I've played so far. You get that conflict in your head when you play OpenCritic Head-To-Head.
Mm-hmm.
Or when you play a Fantasy Critic as well, where it's like, there's what I think of the game, but that's not really what this specific game is about. Like, you can really knacker yourself if you do that, as I found out last year. Yeah, it's cool. So, 2 cool games. One of them I'm going to play. I'm not going to be reviewing many games for a while.
Because you're really busy.
I'm going to be playing
games.
Baldur's Gate 3. It's going to take me...
Well, what is it? There's nothing really...
No, it's...
really of significance, isn't there?
In my head, apart from, like, taking some time to play Stray Gods, which I'm not skipping, like, in my head, I'm going to basically go from Baldur's Gate 3 to Sea of Stars.
What about Immortals of...
I'm not playing that. I mean, sorry.
I thought you were.
Sorry, Immortals of Avium.
Yeah, I thought that's something...
No,
am I getting the wrong game here?
That's probably the wrong game. I mean, no disrespect to the Immortals of Avium team. I'm sure they're working hard on their game. That's the Call of Duty meets Magic.
Oh, fuck
first-person shooter.
Right,
I was like, no, that's not my vibe
yeah.
at all. No.
Also, you're basically back reviews for Sea of Stars and Goodbye Volcano High.
Yeah, basically, it's like, well, I'm on a holiday at the end of the month as well.
I'm thinking of Chance of Serena, or whatever.
Chance of Serena, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
I'll probably push that a little bit just because of games that are out and also money, like of the affordability of games, right? But yeah, no, like I'm also I'm on holiday from basically the beginning of September, so I'll probably just smash out Goodbye Volcano High and then dive into Sea of Stars, however long that game is. I don't think that's going to be massively long. Like, I feel like it's an indie developed tactical RPG, so I don't think it's going to be like, 50 hours or something. It might be, I don't know, but I don't feel like it's going to be like Persona 5. Baldur's Gate.
Oh, definitely not. I don't think. I think you're spot on there. But yeah, that's cool.
I'm really excited.
Stray Gods looks amazing, and I'm looking forward to that. I think
day one. Yeah.
I think that's something I could really hit. What's it coming on again? It's coming on everything.
Everything, yeah. Xbox, Switch, PC, PlayStation.
Coolio. All right, I think we're done, aren't we?
Yeah, we are done. Until next week, when Vitz is going to be joining us. He would have come this week, but he's going to a wedding this weekend, so lots of preparation. Says there's going to be dancing at this wedding.
So he's got to get out his dancing shoes.
Yeah,
to dance again.
He was practicing, and I was like, "Is it like the dancing in RRR?" Because that's like I'd just seen it at yours. He was like, no. His response was, no, I'd break my ankles. And I was like, fair.
Yeah, incredible.
Fair. It was a great movie, though.
Was a great movie indeed. Yeah, well, that's it. We're done. We're dusted, ladies and gentlemen. As always, it's Friday. It's the weekend. So hug your friends, hug your parents.
Colin, you're 100 miles away.
Hug other people.
I don't want to.
Tell them you love them and everything, and just have an awesome weekend and continue to be awesome. Because why? Because you're awesome. Stay safe, everyone. Peace out. Live long and prosper.
Pew pew.
Pew pew indeed.